welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about my 2016 beauty favorites. So I didn't actually do a December favorites because there were a couple things that I had recently tried out and I just didn't want to include those in the yearly favorites. So you'll probably see those in January. But these are going to be the products that I've been loving all year long, or maybe that I discovered this year. I will leave everything linked down below for you guys, and let me know too what y'all's favorites were this year. I tried out a ton of palettes. Whenever I was picking everything out, I'm like, oh my gosh, what did I love just palettes? I feel like there were so many great ones that came out. And yeah, so anyways, before we get started, if you're new to my channel, then welcome to my channel. Make sure before you leave, you do not forget to subscribe down below. That way you're notified for future videos from me. I post twice a week, so I post on Sundays, Wednesdays, and then I throw in a couple bonus videos here and there. We also have my 100,000 subscriber giveaway going on, which is really humongous. So if you have not checked that out, I'll leave that down below for you guys as well. But yeah, I have a lot to talk about, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, I tried to narrow this down as best as I could. That way you guys aren't sitting here for forever. But I'm just going to start grabbing random things. I put everything in this huge box, so let's get started. First thing I want to talk about are two primers that I have loved all year long. So the first one is going to be the Makeup Forever Base Smoothing Primer. I know you guys have heard me talk about this a lot. This is one that like fills in your pores, it fills in fine lines and wrinkles, and it really just gives you like a smooth canvas. So I have been loving this. Now I love this for like the first half of the year, and then I finally decided to retry the BECCA Backlight Priming Filter. Whenever I first tried this, I can't remember what foundation I was using, but I was not 100% like in love with it because it does not fill in your pores or anything that the Makeup Forever one does, but it does give you like this very like healthy luminous glow. And so for some reason, earlier in the year I was really into matte looks, but ever since then I've been more into dewy looks. I mean, not today, but yeah, I really like this one. It gives you a really healthy looking glow, and that's kind of like the look I've been liking for the most part of the year. So this one would probably be like my #1 for 2016, which is crazy because like I said, when I first tried it, I wasn't like in awe about it. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to talk about are foundations, and these are three that I would say were probably like my top ones this year. Okay, so the first one's going to be the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow. I really need to get this color in my shade because it's way too dark for me, but I love this foundation this summer. It was very hydrating and it looked really pretty on the skin. I was really scared at first to try like a glow foundation because I can get oily, but this one actually worked out really well for me. And I know when I wore it in photos like on Instagram, I got a ton of comments asking what foundation I was wearing in those pictures, and it was this one. It is pretty full coverage, and this is probably like my top drugstore foundation. Next one is one that I most recently tried. I got this at the November sale, and I'm pretty sure like this has been like tilted over and stuff, but I'm pretty sure it's probably like to right here because I've used this like almost every day. This is the Clinique Beyond Perfecting Foundation and Concealer, and I know it's probably gross because I use the applicator, but that's the one reason I like it so much. It's so easy to put on. It's super fast. It does stay pretty matte, and you also can use it underneath your eyes as a concealer. So for like a day-to-day basis, I normally have been grabbing this just to kind of like swipe across my face, blend it out with a beauty blender really fast, and I'm good to go out the door for work. So this has been like more my favorite toward the end of the year. And then my other two ride or dies, y'all already know, Makeup Forever Powder Foundation and the Estee Lauder Double Wear. This will be my favorites for years and years and years and years. I have tried so many foundations, and this one just is my holy grail. Like, I need to get it back in my color. That's why I haven't been wearing it as much, but I love it. It's super full coverage. It covers up anything. If you have blemishes, if you have like redness, if you have acne, if you have fine lines, wrinkles, I mean, whatever it is, this thing will cover it up, and it stays all day. If you are oily, you will love this because it does stay. Like, it does not like slide off your face, and it doesn't like crack and all the stuff that some foundations do. This one like fixes all of that. So this is my holy grail #1 Forever foundation, and it is a little bit on the thick side. So if you don't like that, you can always like add an oil to it and kind of like shear it out or apply it with a beauty blender. But yeah, the Estee Lauder Double Wear is the bomb. And then the Makeup Forever I love as a powder foundation, just if I want to hurry out the door. It is pretty full coverage. I haven't used it as much in the winter because I have like some under eye circles because I'm getting a little more pale. But yeah, I love this as a powder foundation. And even too, if you wear a light foundation or like a CC or BB cream, then you can actually wear this on top of it, make it a little bit more full coverage. Okay, next things are highlighters. So my two favorite highlighter palettes, because I could not choose one, is the BECCA JACLYN Hill collaboration and then the Anastasia Glow Kit. So with the BECCA JACLYN Hill, you guys know that I love Champagne Pop, and she came out with the Prosecco Pop color. I don't know what it is, but I just love BECCA highlighters, and these for me, just like whenever I combine them together on my skin, they just blend in so well. And I think no matter if I'm tan or even like as fair as I am right now, they still work out really well. So here are what those two look like. And then swatched on the hand, they look like that. Hopefully you can see that on the camera. Super glowy. So I love those, and I love BECCA, love JACLYN Hill. And then I also loved the Glow Kit by Anastasia. I don't even think this is available anymore, so hopefully it comes back out. But this would be a little bit when I'm more like tan. Some of the colors won't work on me now that I'm fair, like obviously the bronze shade. But these were just like my favorites out of all the Glow Kits. This one was my favorite. I mean, at first I wasn't like in awe of the other Glow Kits, but when this one came out, I was like, oh my gosh, I have got to have it. I think she did a really amazing job this year with everything she came out with. Anastasia really killed it in 2016, and I feel like they're already starting 2017 off with a bang, so I'm so excited to like see all the collaborations and stuff that they have in store for us. Okay, next thing's going to be bronzers. And I narrowed it down to two. Okay, so the first one is the Urban Decay Beach Bronzer. And this one is in the color Bronze. Wait till you guys see the pan on this. I literally use this like all year long. This was just such a pretty shade for me, like on my skin tone throughout this year. As you can see, it's not too orangey. It's just like that right color bronzer. Probably looks a little orangey now that I'm like very fair. But there's what it looks like right there. I just loved it. I love how thin too the packaging is. And it was just a really nice bronzer for me this year. I loved it. I mean, literally, I don't even know a bronzer that I've hit pan on like this. So you guys know the love is real whenever I hit pan like this. So this will be in my empties pretty soon, I'm sure. You guys know, I saved my empties for so long. I don't know if y'all follow me on Snapchat. If you don't, I'll leave my information down below for it. But my boyfriend thought that like everything that was in my trash can was trash. I had been saving empties for so long. I had almost enough to do a video. And like one day I looked at my trash can, I'm like, hey babe, did you see like the contents in this trash can? And he was like, yeah, throw them out. And I'm like, oh, no. Oh my gosh, I was so devastated. So I have been building it back up, so hopefully I'll have it empties probably in the next couple months. And then the other bronzer that I've been loving recently is the Butter Bronzer. I know so many people talked about this year, but I love it. It is such a good color for my skin tone, and it's drugstore, so it's super affordable. I haven't hit pan, but like I've made a pretty decent like indentation in the pan. So here's what it looks like. It's a really good color if you're like a paler skin tone, because it's not going to be like too dark or too orange. So there's that color right there. It has a, I don't even know what the smell is, but it's a really good smell. It smells like the beach. And again, that is by Physicians Formula, and it's the Butter Bronzer. All right, next two things are going to be blushes. I guess I like kind of grabbed everything in twos besides the palettes. But anyways, this was the first year that I tried out Charlotte Tilbury blushes, and you guys, oh, I'm so in love with her makeup. So here's what they look like with the packaging, and they're called Swish and Pop Blusher. And the reason why is because the outside you actually like put on your cheekbone, and then the very middle you can do like a pop like on your cheek. This is my favorite one. I have 3 shades, and this is called Sex on Fire, and it's just such a gorgeous color. It has like a really pretty like mauve blush, and then the middle shade is more of like a purple tone, but it's so beautiful. I mean, if I like don't know what kind of blush I want to wear, this is the one that I always gravitate toward. And here are those 2 shades swatched right there. So of course this side right here is the lighter color, and then this right here is the middle. And that's Charlotte Tilbury Sex on Fire. I love these. They're so good. Another blush I've been loving this year is the BECCA Luminous Blush. This one is in the color Snapdragon, and I just love BECCA blushes. Her blushes and her highlighters are just so pretty. And here's that blush right there. She came out with, I think, 6 of them, and like I have 5 of them and I love all of them. Okay, next thing's going to be a brow product that I discovered in 2016. But anyways, this is the ColourPop Brow Pencil. They came out, I think it was like early spring with these, and I bought every shade for my kit because they're very inexpensive. They were only $5, I think. This is like, to me, almost a dupe for the Anastasia one. It's a lot creamier texture, but the colors are identical. I did a look and I used half of my brow with Anastasia, half with ColourPop, and you could not tell a difference. So I think it's really awesome that ColourPop has a brow pencil that is just like at an affordable price and it actually does the job. So this was one thing I discovered in 2016 that I was really blown away by. Okay, let's do palettes. I can't wait. Okay, so y'all probably already know because I showed most of these on like my favorite palettes, but in January I went to IMATS and I'm going again next weekend. I'm so excited. Let me know down below if you're going to be there. But back last year, January IMATS, Beautylish was there and they had the Natasha Denona palettes. It was the first time they were ever sold in the US, and I've been looking at these palettes for like months and months and months, and I could not pull the trigger on them because they're so expensive. But I was like, you know what, it's my birthday. January is my birthday month, so I was like, there's no way that I am not going to get those palettes if I see them in person and like I can swatch them. I've looked up swatches forever. So anyways, this palette has been like my #1 thing this year, like just her eyeshadows in general, but they are so gorgeous. They're so pigmented. They're like my #1 metallic eyeshadows for sure. The pigmentation is just mind-blowing, and they have different sizes. This of course is like the Big Daddy one, but they have 5-pan palettes that I think are around $50. So if you have not tried these, this is probably like my #1 thing from 2016. I mean, her eyeshadows, let me just show them to you guys. I'll show you some swatches from this palette and then the other one. Okay, so there are 4 shades from that palette, as you can see. Gorgeous. And like I said, they just, one swatch, like amazing pigment. They're unbelievable. And yeah, I mean, look at that, so pretty. There's a close-up of these. I mean, I know some people are like, oh, you know, they're similar to this and that, but I mean, for me, there's no eyeshadows that compare to these. Like, I just love them so much. And you know, too, I think like when we see an eyeshadow palette that's that much money, we're like, oh my gosh. But if you break it down by like the shadows, you're buying the shadows for like $8 a pop, which isn't bad. I mean, Makeup Geek full shadows are like $10. And then also too, like the size you're getting is huge. I know it doesn't look like it, but these are like bigger than the Makeup Forever shadows. So let me go ahead and swatch a few from this palette. I mean, they're just so pigmented. And I'm so sad because these are like my favorite shadows and I want to take them to IMATS, but I'm like, girl, no. I do not want to break them. Like, I would have a heart attack. Alright, so here are 4 more shades. Oh my gosh. Like, do you guys see those? Oh, they're so pretty. I just, again, one one swipe. Y'all know what I mean? They're just so pretty. I mean, look at those. Oh, I just love them so much. So honestly, yes, this was my #1 2016. Gotta have it item. Like, I love these so much. Y'all know whenever I just get excited about stuff, I mean, come on. I mean, they're expensive. The good thing about Beautylish is they got easy pay though. So, just saying. Just saying. It's not bad when you split it up in 3 payments. Then a couple other palettes. Obviously, you guys know the Vizar Neutral Matte palette was like my holy grail matte palette. Now, this is the one in my kit that I grabbed because I just have it in this room. Mine looks a lot worse because it has like holes in it. Or I've hit pan on some of the shades. But these are just so pretty. I'm not going to swatch this since it's like my kit palette, but if you're looking for like a really good matte palette that you can just pair with any like palette that you have, this is really good, and it's good for every day too. They're some of the best matte shadows I own, the best. Natasha Denona has the best shimmer shadows, and then Vizart has the best matte. And then the last two palettes is the Makeup Geek Manny MUA palette. Oh my gosh. I just love this. It's so funny because I was not going to get this when it came out, and then some reason or another I did end up ordering it, but I love this palette. I went through a phase where this was the only palette I wore, and I was like, Danielle, you've got to stop. For some reason, this shade right here, this like pink shade, it just was like all I wanted to wear, like ever. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's like a pinky metallic fold shade. But this was like all I wanted to wear on my lid. Like I would do an eyeshadow look and be like, Danielle, no, you need to grab the Manny MUA palette. Like, what are you doing? And then also like this shade right here, the like white shade, it is the most gorgeous inner corner highlight ever. I love it. So yeah, this palette, I mean, I bought two for backups because I did not want to not have this palette. And just for these two shades, like these two are my favorite. Like, please just release these two shades. You know what I mean? Like, do what BECCA did with JACLYN Hill. Put it on permanent. And then the last one, of course, is the Modern Renaissance palette. I'm not going to swatch this because I'm sure you guys have saw this swatched everywhere, but this palette killed it. This is like the best warm eyeshadow fall essential palette ever. I know some of the colors, like the pinks, can look scary, but they are so gorgeous. These two, the Raw Sienna and the Burnt Orange, I could like seriously use in every makeup look ever. Like, I love them so much. All right, we're getting down to the nitty and gritty. All right, so eyelashes. This year I discovered the Japanesque eyelash applicator. This thing is life. If you don't own it, I'm gonna leave it down below. It will change the way you put on your false lashes. It's so easy. Like, it just has this little like clip, and you just clip your lashes, place them down, and then you can go back in and just like push them down to make sure they're attached like to your actual like eye. But these have made it so simple. I had another pair that like Sephora made, but once I got these, like if I don't have these, I don't do false lashes. It just does not happen. And then as far as eyelashes goes, I fell in love with Flutter lashes. My friend Dana actually sent me a pair. Thank you so much. You got me addicted. But these are the Natalie Flutter lashes. They are like beaten up. Like, I've probably wore them 40 times, not even exaggerating. And I just ordered a new pair, thankfully. That way they don't have to go through any more abuse. These are just so gorgeous. I don't even want to show them to you guys because y'all are going to be like, what the heck? Let me grab my clean pair. Okay, here's my clean pair so you can kind of see these. But you guys, they are so gorgeous. They are dramatic, but I'm telling you, they're the most comfortable lashes I've ever worn. Even though they're dramatic, like, they still aren't. I know that does not sound like it makes any sense, but like, they're dramatic, but it's not like thick where you're like these. Like, these are like thicker, so they look more dramatic, where these are super long, but you could still pull them off for like a natural look. They're just really long and full, but they're thin. I don't know if that makes any sense, but they're my favorites. And then this year I also fell in love with the Born This Way concealer. I love this all year long. It replaced my Naked by Urban Decay. And I just started trying out the tape shape, so I don't know. See, I might have to do a battle of the concealers. Okay, and then lastly are going to be just like 3 lip products. I narrowed it down. I don't know how I did it. But the first one's going to be Charlotte Tilbury Very Victoria. I got this in a swap that I did with Cotton, and I actually just fell in love with the shade. It's like a perfect everyday nude mauve color. And it looks like this, super comfortable to wear as well. Then this summer, I went on a kick with the YSL Oils, and I think that like for probably 2 months, I didn't even really wear lipstick. It was crazy. But these are really nice. They're pretty pricey, but they do last a while. They're a hydrating oil, but they have a tint to them. So they like stain your lips when you wear them. So comfortable. And then the last one is Dose of Color Stone. I think I probably wore this obviously in 2015 probably, but this color is like my jam. I almost have a color on very similar. I feel like this like type of shade is just like my go-to. So yeah, those are like 3 holy grails. I also wore a lot of the YSL, I don't know what they're called. They're like a lipstick, but it's like really shiny. I'll try to leave them linked down below. That's another like go-to this year as well. But yeah, that's going to complete my beauty favorites of 2016. I had some other favorites like my new curling iron by T3. Of course, I tried out new brushes, Smith brushes and Wayne Goss brushes. They stole my heart this year. And I've also recently been using the Zoeva brushes that Som got me, and I've really been liking those. So yeah, let me know down below what your favorites are. I'm really excited to hear them. And as always, I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.